You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz, Saturdays 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. to noon. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome into the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick, Brad Steen's in the building today. KentuckySports.co, 1450, the Sports Buzz. We're up and running here, live on air. We'll get the technical difficulties in our headsets cleared up here in a moment. We've got a full show lined up for you all today here in about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. We're going to call our Saturday co-host, Mark Blankenbaker. We're going to recap the Louisville Southern Miss game last night, or as Kelly, the Pond game, if you want to call it. Farrell Elliott, as always, 11 o'clock, fantasy football talk. And then special guest, Lance McAllister, 700 WLW Cincinnati, joining us at 11:30. Excited to have Lance McAllister on, talking a lot of Reds talk. Obviously, Homer Bailey, Kelly, threw that no-hitter the other day. And now, the Reds are 95 wins. They lost last night, which is fine because they already locked up that playoff spot. So we'll talk to Lance McAllister at 11:30. But, keeping it kind of local here since Mark's going to come on, let's talk a little bit of the Louisville game. I guess let's just start out with that because that was the most recent game. I think, Adam, we have a caller on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line already. He's ready to get in here nice and early today. The Truth, good morning to you.
What's up, man? I know you was tempted that Homer Bailey. Hello? Hello?
Truth, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right, what's going on, man?
I say I know you were excited about Homer Bailey pitching that no-hitter.
Oh, my goodness, I couldn't be more excited about Homer Bailey throwing that no-hitter. It's a great year so far for the Reds, Truth. The division champs, and now the first no-hitter since 1988. I'm excited about this.
I picked them, and the Reds and the Yankees go to World Series, and the Yankees sweep them.
I remember you telling me that a month or so ago. I'd love to see that series. Now, if you remember, Truth, Kentucky did just win a championship in basketball, and if you look through some past years, Kentucky and the Yankees always win championships, usually the same season, so that could happen.
Yeah. Hey, what about your Wildcats yesterday? They gave South Carolina a scare.
They did. They started out strong at 17-7 first-half lead. If you're listening yesterday, I actually predicted USC to get Kentucky to upset USC. I was wrong. Mark,
you came close.
It was a good try. They had some late turnovers. Obviously, Max Smith getting hurt on that first series didn't help, but Jalen Whitlow played well.
Really? Well, you know what we got about 12 more days for college basketball start.
Oh, I know. I cannot wait. Big Blue Madness. Is there Indiana? Is it? Are they having a Midnight Madness?
I think so. I don't know yet. I'm still into football season.
Yeah, Indiana's struggling though on the gridiron. Truth.
They defense is struggling. The offense ain't.
Yeah, that's true. I caught a little highlights. I don't know. Kelly, can you hear us now?
I can.
We got Truth on the line. Just say no. We're having some difficulties with the headset.
Let me ask you something. What do you think about that West Virginia game at Baylor?
Golly, not much defense there, was there?
Oh, no. I think we don't really know who's number one for real because every time we think a team get in the top 10, they get knocked off every week.
Yeah? You mean who's number one in the country?
Yeah, Alabama running number one by itself. I don't really see nobody can match up with them.
Yeah, going into the season, I kind of thought USC was going to end up I personally did. I thought USC was going to be a big contender for a top spot in the country. Obviously, they've already lost.
I got you two upsets next week.
Okay.
I got Oklahoma beating Notre Dame, and I got Nebraska beating Ohio State.
Wow.
Now, would the Nebraska Ohio State, would that be an upset, Truth? Or maybe, I guess, ranking-wise it would, but Nebraska's got
ranking. I I look like Nebraska ready to play football. I could be wrong. You know, every time they beat another big team, then the following week they get their butt kicked.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Truth, I was going to let you know, every Thursday we're doing a high school show over in Floyd Knobs for high school football. I know you kind of like all the Indiana talk. We're doing over at Matt Dennison, the Courier Journal, on Thursday evening, 7 to 8. You might want to tune in and listen to that one.
Okay, you know, I don't live in Louisville no more.
No, I know. It's over. We do the show over in Indiana. I know you're up a little bit further, but, you know, we're talking about the Indiana high school.
Okay, I'll check you out on the radio.
There you go.
On satellite.
Yep.
Yes,
same thing,
okay.
Just like this show.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, Truth, have a good one.
Good stuff there. Sorry about the technical difficulties to get started with. It sounded like you and Truth were talking a little bit about Homer Bailey's big game.
We did. He started off with Homer, and then he led into how he predicted about a month or so ago that it would be the Reds and the Yankees in the World Series, and how he said the Yankees would sweep the Reds, and then I reminded him that I should have reminded him the Reds already beat the Yankees in a series this year. Then I should have reminded, and then I also pulled up that the Reds and Yankees, Kelly, if you've looked back, Brad, you might know this, that the Reds and Yankees always win championships, usually the same year. If you go back, they won it in 1998, 1996, if I'm correct. Going back into the 70s, I believe it was 78, they won it as well, the Yankees and Reds, so it's kind of a correlation.
Yeah, I think, you know.
Not this year,
It's kind of, yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, you know, that the Yankees the Yankees and Wildcats actually do that. I'm talking about every time Kentucky wins a national championship in basketball, the Yankees kind of seem to do the same thing in baseball. But yeah, I'm actually interested to see if the Yankees are actually going to make the playoffs this year, because the Orioles are giving them everything they can handle.
Yeah, tied up.
Yeah, they just the Orioles hit a walk-off home run last night and ended up beating I forget who they were playing, but they are tied with a couple games to go, so that's probably the most interesting race that's going on right now besides the AL Central.
What else is going on, Kelly? In Louisville, I just think we're bouncing around topics here. Reds, Yankees, Louisville. Trying to get back here on local since Mark's going to get back on the Louisville game last night. Truth brought that up.
Golly. I mean,
you watched it.
I watched the whole game. That was a stressful game to watch. I mean, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. You could drop the football and it would literally float away.
Did either of
you guys get to see it?
I did not.
No, it was amazing. I mean, I don't know who designed the irrigation system.
I didn't hack on the internet like you did to watch this game. I didn't, go illegal, do illegal things online to watch this game.
Not sure what you're talking about there, but I've never seen a game where you could literally, I don't know, what are the rules? Let's say, what if I took the ball and I said, hey, I'm going to run a trick play and drop it in the rain. I know it's going to float. Is that down?
So Kelly literally told me on the way up here that the whole game, it was like there was 3 to 5 inches of water on the whole turf.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the whole game, but, I mean, one punt literally just, boom, boom. I mean, it just stopped.
What was that again?
Whereas you punt it up, it's supposed to hit the ground and then bounce somewhere.
It just
like flopped in there and just stopped. So I mean,
it's like throwing a football into the lake with your friends when you're having a good little day in the lake.
Yeah, I mean it really was. It was amazing. I'm happy Louisville came out with a win. Mm-hmm. They're undefeated. I don't know. It was not pretty.
Now,
was it a pretty game? No, it was ugly. Southern Miss ended up having some very bad mistakes at the end that really helped Louisville out. And it was an ugly win. If there ever was an ugly win, it was that.
How major of a factor, though, do you think this weather was to Louisville? Obviously, they were trailing at half. It was close all game. Yeah, you were freaking out late in the game because they didn't have the ball. They were down. They obviously got that late touchdown to seal the deal to close it out. But how much of a factor would this game been close if it was a nice night out?
I don't know. I think that Louisville. I honestly think Louisville would have won pretty comfortably if it was.
I
do. I'll go out. On
can't hear anything, Kelly. You're.
There we go.
No, I really do though. I honestly do. I think Louisville would have won the game comfortably had the weather not been an issue. That's my opinion. No way of proving that. They've got a week off now, and we'll see after that. But I mean, it was ugly. I'm glad we got out with the win. I know that Southern Miss also had to play in the weather. You can say that. Obviously, they did. And did Louisville play good? No. Should that have impacted Louisville's ability to tackle? No, it really shouldn't have. Louisville looked like crap. They looked bad.
Yeah, and the guy everybody knows, Trevor Bacon-Kelsey, was texting me throughout the game, kind of really biting his nails. He was just really freaking out. He picked up 3 Baconators and he just crushed those in the third quarter because he was that nervous. And food always comforts him. But he was telling me, like you just said, the rain slowing down the offense. Which Teddy Bridgewater being a mobile quarterback, the offense of Louisville usually being a fast-paced offense. Kind of was slowed down. The defense couldn't slow down anything, it seemed like. It was just, in my opinion, I caught highlights. From the highlights I saw, it was just a slow game. I know Brad, myself, we didn't hack online like you. We didn't go illegal.
I didn't hack online.
We didn't do anything illegal.
Didn't do that. But I'll be interested to hear what Mark
he was there,
has to say about it. He was there. I mean, my takeaway from it was, I think if Louisville had, like an Eric Shelton type guy, hence, Dominique Brown. If we had Dominique Brown, I think he would have been perfect for that game. That's the type game.
That's a game Dominique Brown could re-injure himself easily, though.
True. But that's the type game where you just got to run. You just got to give up on. I mean, look at this. You got to give up on the passing game. You got to pound the rock. Sonoris Perry had a great game. 22 rushes for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jeremy Wright ran the ball 20 times for 84 yards. So Teddy Bridgewater, while efficient, 134.2 passer rating, he was 9 of 13. He only threw the ball 13 times. It was an ugly game, and they were fortunate to come out with the win.
Yeah,
the other quarterback, let's see what he did. 2 of 8 from passing. Is that
you can't throw the ball, Brad.
It was the ugliest game I've ever seen.
Brad was a football guy. He looks like he's played football before.
I played Pee Wee.
You played Pee Wee. That's experience. I mean, we've all thrown the ball when it's wet. It's not easy. And when you're doing it with a very tough defense of Louisville, wants to sack the hell out of you, coming at you, it makes it even harder. So, in my opinion, for a guy who didn't pay attention or see one snap of this play live, it has to be a lot to do with the rain, because I really do see that Southern Mississippi is just nowhere near as good as Louisville, and Louisville played down drastically last night. I don't think it should be. You need to pull. I don't think you should worry about your last night as much heading into your next coming weeks.
We've got an off week. We've got an off week now, and then we get to play Pittsburgh. But when you looked at, we played against a team that started a true freshman. They were 2 of 8. He was 2 of 8 passing the ball. I did see some flashes of improvement from the defense, but overall it was a lackluster performance. We struggled to tackle people. It was ugly. It was an ugly game if I've ever seen one. I don't even have to tell you the statistics. I mean, it was ugly. We got the win. We're still 5-0. You guys can go ahead and tell me how weak Louisville's schedule is.
Me and Brad, being Kentucky fans, obviously Kentucky lost last night, and Truth brought that up. It was a good played game by Kentucky for the most part. There was some ugly plays that late in the game that did maybe hurt them on the offense, a few turnovers. But, they got some turnovers early. But we'll talk about a little bit of that. But I wanted to ask you a little bit later in the show about Louisville. You are 5-0 now. Looking ahead, you've already had your early games. There have been kind of easy games on your schedule, on an easy schedule, if you want to say that.
Very easy
Now
schedule.
you've got looking into your conference of Cincinnati, Rutgers, maybe Pittsburgh. I'll give you maybe a 60-40 of being decent in a game. Your toughest stretch of schedule is ahead of you. You could worry. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get to our break. We will get Mark Blankbecker on. He is live from Hattiesburg. Still in town. He's going to make the trip back later today, so we'll get to his recap of this Louisville Southern Miss game. Stick with us. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Call in on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz, 1450, thesportsbuzz.com. Check us out, KentuckySports.co as well. And on to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line, the man from cardsandcats.com. He's down at the game last night for Louisville Southern Miss. Kelly, you get to talk a lot about cards with him. Your man, Mark Blankenbaker. Mark, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not much, man. We're just moving on down the road, headed home to Louisville finally.
Fine. Unfortunately, right? You've been on the road for about 2 weeks, if I'm correct.
Yeah, about 10 days. Seems like I'm waterlogged. 2 football games, both of them had a lot to do with water, but in between it was sunny, so go figure.
Yeah, that's good though. At least you enjoyed your time on the beach in the good weather. It's rather be raining during the game than on the beach, as long as your Cards won, right?
exactly. I don't know how they did it, but it was one of the weirdest games I think I've ever been to. Early in the first quarter, saw water start standing still a little bit. And, it wasn't a big deal. And Teddy Bridgewater was able to throw a long touchdown pass to Devontae Parker to take the lead. The snap was bobbled because they actually set the ball in a puddle, one of the few puddles that had formed at that point. And so, they weren't able to capitalize. But then it was just puddle after puddle, and then eventually it was a lake. So it was one of the weirdest things I've ever been a part of.
I would imagine. I mean, from my view, I got to watch the game. I wasn't there, but, that was just – the true freshman starting quarterback for Southern Miss ended up 2 for 8 passing the ball.
Yeah. It was early on, it was very obvious that, once this rain started to come down and the ball was being spotted in literal puddles, that nobody was throwing the ball. Nobody could get a grip. When Teddy Bridgewater looks like he is just not even able to be even close to what he's able to be, then that it's bad. Pass protection on both sides of the ball was almost non-existent because, offensive line had backpedaling into pedals. Not a good thing to do. So both teams elected to run the football, and it was a low-scoring, low-yardage game, and Southern Miss took advantage of a Teddy Bridgewater pick six off the hands of Devontae Parker, and it really made the game interesting.
I know that watching the game, I noticed that the defense seemed to be struggling with tackling. I was very discouraged at certain points. At the same time, there were certain possessions where Louisville's defense kind of came to life and showed some flashes of the defense that we've come accustomed to with Charlie Strong and Vance Bedford over the last couple of years. What was your take on the defense last night?
Well, I think yesterday they really let too many big plays go with their lack of tackling, especially in the first half. There were several different occasions where they had the defender wrapped and just couldn't bring him to the ground. And that, maybe it was the rain, maybe it wasn't, but Louisville only allowed 73 yards in the second half. And Southern Miss finished just 2 of 12 on third down, and that really ended up being the difference in the ball game, with Southern Miss not being able to sustain drives in the second half. And you look at time of possession, Louisville dominated 34 minutes to Southern Miss's 24 minutes. Louisville's defense, they also made a play forcing a fumble early in the game. I thought they played great. I felt like they made a mental, focus to go out and bring the ball carriers to the ground and stop making excuses about the rain. And when they did that, it started all coming together.
Hey, Mark, before we had you on in the first segment, I was talking to Kelly at the right then. I was saying that this rain game and just how, it wasn't just a rain game. It was a monsoon, like you said, a lake-type atmosphere on that field. Last night's game, you really shouldn't judge it to what maybe Louisville is at so far, because that's just a whole other environment, a whole other, type of ball game, right?
Yeah, there's no way you can judge any team on anything. And the unfortunate thing is, the voters today, they're going to come out with a new poll, and a lot of people are going to look at an 0-4 Southern Miss team, and they stayed within 4 points of a Louisville team. And while that's true, this was really a game without skill. It was a game literally of wills, like who's going to step up and make a play, who's just going to battle through, not make excuses, and just go out and win the football game, and who's not going to make a mistake. And we saw, Southern Miss, that punter is very skilled for Southern Miss, and to have the ball go off his foot like that, that's a conditional type thing. And Louisville was able to get the ball, already in field goal position, and they took advantage and got the go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, I think that was, a 6-yard punt?
No, it actually did not go past the line of scrimmage.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was a couple times late in the game. Right. Where the conditions, and understandably so, Southern Miss just had some errors. We came out with the win. It's tough to really be too upset coming out of a game like that and still being 5-0.
Now, I hate to bring this up. Mark, you just mentioned the rankings. The poll voters are going to come out and maybe drop you. Kelly on the way up here. said if Louisville dropped to 27-28, he'd be fine because you're undefeated. He'd be okay with that. Is that okay
Mark.
with you?
I did say that.
Well, that's not going to happen, though.
I don't think it's going to happen.
There's 22 undefeated teams left in college football. Louisville's one of them. They haven't earned a position to really drop out of the top 25. I wouldn't be surprised if they fell, to 19th, 20th, 21st. But they're not going to fall out of the poll. Cincinnati's going to move in with a big, impressive win over Virginia Tech. Michigan State will fall out. But there really wasn't a whole lot of movement yesterday in the top 25 poll, and it wasn't like a shocking win that would really justify a huge move from somebody behind Louisville over them. So I don't think that this poll is really going to do much today, except for the Michigan State kind of dropping out. Oh, and also you had number 8. Forgot earlier in the week with Arizona, or not Arizona. Yeah, it was whoever.
Stanford and Washington.
Yeah, Stanford. Yeah. God, I could not think of Stanford for anything.
Washington beat Stanford, who Stanford had knocked USC off. So, I mean, a lot of, I guess, parity going on.
Mark, before we let you get on the road, I wanted to ask you about obviously the Cards won. It was an ugly game, sloppy game, maybe not a judgmental game. The crowd, you were there. You were one of maybe, 78?
They announced attendance at 4.5, and that might actually have happened with people going through the turnstiles, but they did not stay because when the game was starting, the rain was non-existent. Like the rain had stopped, and then literally 5 minutes before kickoff, the rain started going, and a lot of people left in the first quarter. And actually, my seat in the press box was leaking. I had a leaking ceiling tile, and I had to construct a pyramid of cups, kind of protect all of my equipment and everything that I used.
It's weird how they put Mark Blankenbaker, the Louisville guy, all the way from Louisville in the seat that leaks. Everybody else's was dry. It's kind of sketchy to me.
That's not true at all. There were several very well qualified writers that more experienced than me. They're dealing with the same thing. It was a leaky press box. Everything about this game was strange, but Louisville got the win. They moved to 5-0 for the 7th time in school history.
Yeah.
And, bye week going into Big East, and it all counts from here on out. So.
Well, Mark, we appreciate you going on site for us and bringing us that firsthand experience, insight into the game. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, no problem, and you all have a great rest of the day.
Will do. It's good stuff there. Mark actually on site, getting to see just the strangest game that I can remember watching. On a little bit more of a national perspective, Teddy Bridgewater at one point was thought of to be maybe, at least in the running for the Heisman, probably not so much momentum for that type of a campaign.
Can you really
right now?
Can you really count weeks 1 through 3 as in you're in the running for the Heisman anyways?
He was.
If you want to look at your first game for 600 yards, oh my gosh, Brad, he might win the Heisman.
Yeah, I know.
You got to at least wait till week.
He's not in the running. He's not in the running for the Heisman. However, there is one guy who plays football in the state of West Virginia. Actually, leads the nation in passing.
Yeah.
And you could make a case that he's, a candidate for Heisman. Do you guys know what his name is?
Geno Smith.
Wrong. His name's Rakeem Cato. He's the quarterback for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Leads the nation in passing yards.
I think you said quarterback for West Virginia, though, not in West Virginia.
No, I said in the state of West Virginia. You guys don't know anything.
I didn't listen. So
Rakeem Cato threw 45 for 68, 439 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Was this yesterday?
Yes.
I'm talking about overall this season. Rakeem Cato leads the nation, Division I passing yards.
Well, that's interesting.
Not Geno Smith. Your face.
That's interesting.
That's awesome. We don't care.
Because Geno Smith is actually 141 of 169 this year for 20 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So
I think he's going by yards. Who cares?
I'm going by yards.
Anyways, why are we talking about West Virginia quarterbacks?
Because he's my favorite to win the Heisman this year.
Brad is a big Geno Smith.
Geno Smith will win
Brad's
the Heisman
going out on a limb and saying the guy who threw for 8 touchdowns and no interceptions last night might be the Heisman.
Well, ESPN listen, you can
go on a limb, Brad.
You can make fun of me all you want, but I'm looking at ESPN experts poll right now, and they have him number 1.
I don't need ESPN experts, Kelly. Me and Kelly are experts.
He threw for 7. How many yards did he throw for? That was the ridiculous game. You're right. He's a beast.
He threw for 656 yards. His quarterback rating was 248.
Well, Max Smith threw for,
he threw for 9 yards yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's because Max Smith got hurt. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. But on your Heisman talk, Geno, I'm not hating on your Geno Smith
No, I'm
for
not
sure.
either. I agree with you. You got to say that.
But did you say Geno Smith Friday?
Would I have said Geno Smith Friday? Sure.
Well, yeah, I don't trust you on that one. I just don't.
Then you're wrong. But
I've seen clips of Geno Smith. I haven't sat and watched a whole.
Did
whole
you know?
game. Have you? Did you watch him the other day? Is that why you're so?
I watched him yesterday.
Okay.
But
how did he look? Were they deep passes? I mean,
they were, for the most part, he
got a cannon on him, huh?
He does have a very good arm. For the most part, he was, letting it air out because Baylor has a terrible defense. There's no denying that.
No.
But I'm going with Geno Smith as my Heisman winner so far this year, unless somebody like an E.J. Manuel or Colin Klein can impress me more.
I'm going with Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm going
with Teddy Bridgewater. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not either, and I don't think. Teddy
Did you see though? Since we're on the on the college football national scene here, Miami's quarterback threw an ACC record 566 passing yards yesterday. So a lot of yards get down by quarterbacks yesterday.
Do you guys even want to talk about the Kentucky game?
Yeah,
much?
we do want to. We'll get into that after this next break. Let's go ahead and get to that break, and we'll start talking to Kentucky. I did watch that game. Brad watched that game. It was on ESPN too, so everybody watched that game. So stick with us if you want to give us a shout. This is 384-1450. Weekend Sports was always presented by livingforless.org. Smart shoppers, check them out. And if you want to, you can text us now. It'll go straight to my man Adam, 414-1450. Shoot us a text. We'll read them over the air. Stick with us as Weekend Sports Buzz.
It's the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Hope you tuned into the last segment. We got to talk a little with Mark Blankenbaker about that amazing, just disgustingly sloppy game Louisville won last night. Also, we started to talk a little bit about how early in the first half, Kentucky was in Lexington, and they were looking at possibly pulling off an upset against the old ball coach.
Again.
The South Carolina Gamecocks. And in the second half, it didn't go quite as
I don't like your
as
smile
the,
right
as
now.
the first half went.
That's the first thing I want to
It
clarify.
looked like they may pull off the upset in the first half. Second half, not so much. What do you guys think?
I really like your little smirk.
I haven't
smile.
been this excited since I just completely stumped you guys last segment on the Rakeem Cato thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, you got me good on that one.
Well, it started off great. Obviously Kentucky. They came off Brad 3-0 early in the first quarter. They got it down to, but what started not so early was Max Smith. First series. Got hurt, ankle injury. I'm not really sure exactly as of right now what is going on with it. If he's out for a while, if it's week to week, if it's day to day. But he went down, which brought in not Morgan Newton. As Joker would say, he wasn't god awful for Jalen Whitlow. He came in. Brad, he played well.
Yeah, he played really well. 12 of 23 for 114 yards. But the thing that I was really happy with how Kentucky played in the first half, they played inspired. They played
did.
like bats out of hell. They were, playing so well. They blocked the punt. They went in for a touchdown, and then they had a chance to score at the end of the half. But that fumble picked up by, I think it was DeMarco Robinson, picked up.
Yep, it was.
They stopped. South Carolina defender stopped them on like the 1 yard line, and then they had to scramble and try and spike the ball. If they would have scored there to make it a 24-7 or
It would have been huge.
That would have been
even a field goal would have been great.
It would have been huge for that team to go in up 13 because Spurrier's going to try and tear the paint.
He's going to do something in the locker room.
Yeah.
He's going to cheat at halftime or do something to
I
turn this around.
I know that one guy who was probably sweating bullets in the first half was probably our man, Carolina Steve. How you doing this morning, Carolina?
Just fine, and they could not have spiked the football. I was there last night. If they'd have spiked it, they would have lost possession.
Yeah.
That was fourth down.
Okay.
It
Oh,
was.
okay.
You were there last night, Carolina.
I enjoyed the game. Of course, I played in South Carolina back in the '60s, and I went. And I don't understand the old ball coach. He makes more than I do, but he gets down there to the 1 yard line. He lets Connor Shaw try and quarterback sneak twice, and he's got the all-time leading touchdown score in the history of the Gamecocks. Broke George Rogers' record. And he wouldn't give the ball to Marcus Lattimore with 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
That's very odd. That is very odd because, in my opinion, I think Marcus Lattimore is the best running back in the nation. Maybe a 1-2 at least. He's up there. I know USC has Silas Red. He's a beast. But I mean, Lattimore, he had 120 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I don't see how. Yeah, I don't see how you don't hand it off to him. If you're a Carolina fan, you are a Carolina fan. You got to be puzzled as you are.
Yeah, this is the second game he did it. He did it against Mizzou last week. Same thing on the first time. And I tell you what, Kentucky played inspired football for one half. I'm really, really pleased. I enjoyed the football game. They were there. They blocked the kick. South Carolina in the second half, I think they came out, and I don't know what Spurrier said to them at halftime. But, God, they came out, and they just started dominating them. They had 2 defensive ends, number 7 and number 98, and I'll swear they must have been 6'8" and 6'7" was their height.
Yeah, number 7 is Jadeveon Clowney.
He was the hands down number 1 recruit coming out of high school last year. I think he's a true sophomore.
Yeah.
I think it's something like Jadeveon
Jadeveon Clowney.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember when he came out. He's a freak athlete. He was just the most highly sought after guy in the country.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot. I saw Julius Peppers play at Carolina and Mario Williams at NC State. He's in that line, and after next year, he'll be playing on Sundays. And it was, they came out there, and I missed one thing I wanted to see. I did not see Spurrier throw his visor a single time, and I was looking forward to seeing a visor throw.
Carolina, you're absolutely right. He kept his visor on the entire game. That is something you never see out of Steve Spurrier. But I know one thing that South Carolina did in the second half, and they handed the ball off to Marcus Lattimore more times than not, and he just tore up the Kentucky defense.
He did. There were several times he liked to broke it and everything, but I do want to give Kentucky kudos and everything. But when after South Carolina scored the go-ahead touchdown, the people were leaving the ball, the stadium. They started getting up and walking out. I don't think that's right. Its stadium was it might have been half full. I couldn't see on the side from where I was, but the people that were there were making a lot of noise while they were there. And one gripe I had, I couldn't get my apps on my iPhone to work, and they never put the U of L score on the scoreboard. They put all the top 20 teams up there, but the U of L score. I swear, that's one thing that got me mad. A friend of mine that I went with, he had a iPhone and went out and went on the deck and got the scores. And I was looking more. I didn't care about the U of L game. I wanted to see the score of the ECU game. And I finally found that out when the game was over. But all in all, that's my second trip. Yeah, we beat UTEP Thursday night. We got a big one. If we can beat Central Florida, that should just about be a good clincher for us to win the Conference USA, whatever they call them, East or West divisions or whatever it is, and everything. But we can still go to the playoffs if we lose that one. It could win out the conference because Central Florida is ineligible to go to the bowl or to the playoffs in Conference USA this year, which is why I can't understand how come the Big East took them as one of their football teams when they're going to be on probation. Well, y'all keep it up. Great show and everything. I did not know until I got and could get Facebook back on my cell phone that there was a monsoon down at Hattiesburg and everything. But I still say, okay, they won. They won, by 3 points?
4.
You got to look at it. East Carolina went down there and beat that same team by 14 points. So I could feel happy about that. Y'all have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Carolina.
I want to say something that he said. He said that ECU beats Southern Miss by 14, and you guys beat them by 4. So by the transitive property, ECU is better than Louisville.
You could say that.
Yeah, it's just a 10-point better.
You could say that. The bottom line, though, is if you're a Kentucky fan and you're talking smack to me about the Louisville football program, I really feel the need to say,
kind of the
shut
same
your
way
mouth.
when Bull fans
We played head-to-head, and we just destroyed you guys.
kind of like last
We
year.
destroyed you.
Kind of like after the
If
season.
you want to talk smack
Holy
to me,
smokes.
that's cool.
I'm not talking smack to you at all. I'm just
in
saying.
the same breath, be a Kentucky football fan, and then, weather, it was both ways. Both teams had to play in the
Hey, if
weather.
you don't remember what I said for the past 2 segments, that you don't judge Louisville on this game or their performance last night. So
You did.
I don't know where
All
you're
I'm
coming
saying
from.
is if I
So
hear
you need to calm
one
down
little-
and you're all red,
just-
you're turning red. Really need to calm down. Okay,
We can move forward. I'm just saying.
But freaking out. I wanted to mention to fans. Carolina brought up that he said it was about half full. The number was 49,800. That would be the second or third games under 50,000. Before that, the only sub 50,000 crowd at Commonwealth Stadium was in 1996. The stadium expanded in 99.
Yeah.
So that's obviously
It's pathetic.
the fans are still coming out. I mean, 50,000 are pretty good. I mean, what's Papa John's, Kelly? Holds 55.
That was the record, yeah.
So Kentucky almost pulled Papa John's record on an awful season. So that's pretty good. I'm not disappointed. It's just not the 60 plus that you've been used to throughout the last 10 years or so. But there was some issues yesterday with the student section, with the issues of they not getting it to drink on a certain tailgate lot. That shouldn't be the big thing. I mean, half the students at UK aren't 21 anyways. Not that I'm harping down on that, but that does maybe affected a little bit. The student section was only dead empty, basically, in the upper section. So there's multiple factors. I wasn't too mad overall with the game.
There was a picture that I saw on Twitter that somebody took. I can't remember. It was 5 minutes before kickoff, and the upper part of the stadium was almost empty. So it's kind of disheartening. I know the players. They're doing what they can. Considered that, I think now that Joker isn't really the fit, but I mean. I guess you could say still come out and support. Win or lose, we still booze. That's my
I like
philosophy.
Joker. I like what he's doing with the young talent that's came in. You can see it's molding over the past couple games. He's starting to get them in there, and I like it. I really do. But let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Diehard Kentucky fan, one of my favorites. Hank is on the line. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much.
Man, I don't. If I was a Louisville fan such as yourself,
I'm sorry, what was that?
I wouldn't be. If I was a Louisville fan such as yourself,
that's me. Yep.
I wouldn't be beating my chest, man.
Not beating my chest.
You're 5. You're 5-0. That this is true. You're in the top 25. This is true. But your 5-0 is against a bunch of teams with losing records.
Every one of them has a losing record, I believe.
That's awful.
Losing records.
Yep.
I mean, and you're proud of that.
I'm proud of being 5-0.
Shame. Come on, man.
We played. Are you a Kentucky football fan, Hank, or do you have another team? I'm guessing you probably do, right?
I like Miami.
Oh, I knew
and
it.
I cheer for,
knew it.
And I cheer for Kentucky. Oh, I'm glad you got your rocks off just the thought of that, buddy.
But, I get a kick out of it. I don't know. I get a kick out of it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I don't know.
But,
yeah, Louisville's 5-0. They can't play teams that they're not scheduled. They have won in very unconvincing fashion. Hence, I said if Louisville moves back or out of the top 25, I won't have much to complain about. You're right. Our schedule sucks. But we did get to play Kentucky this year, and we smoked them.
Well, that's not saying much. So did Western, so did South Carolina. I mean, come on, bro. So did Florida. You act like
I'm not saying we're a national championship contender.
No, but you saying that you make it where you sound. Y'all should be a top 10 type team.
No, I certainly didn't say that. No, what I said is I wouldn't mind if we fell out of the top 25.
You want Teddy Bridgewater up for Heisman.
I don't think he should. I don't think he has much of a case at going for Heisman at all. Actually, I don't.
Do you realize y'all Louisville has never had nobody invited to New York for a Heisman Trophy ceremony, let alone win a Heisman? I mean, do you realize that? I mean, to say that you want this man for Heisman, he's not that type quarterback.
He is. So I'd beg to differ. I'd say junior, senior year, he could be. Do you think so?
What could be is no, I don't, because the type of competition you're playing against. What makes you think he should be? When I see him playing against at least a decent team in NC State, he looked like a clown last year.
Yeah.
A clown is what he looked like.
Yeah.
NC State's not that good, but he looked bad.
Okay.
They made him look bad. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I'm with you.
I don't see y'all playing no competition.
We're not.
I look at your schedule. Hey, I think you should go undefeated with the tough schedule that you have. Yes, you should. You ought to feel ashamed if you lose more than 2 games. Now, I'm saying there's things called upset, and that's what I'm saying. And if y'all lose more than 2 games, if y'all lose 3 games or more, you ought to be ashamed of Charlie Strong. You ought to be ashamed with your program, because there's no way that y'all should. Well, like I said, you have at least 3 more teams on that schedule with losing records right now. Currently, 3 more teams on that schedule. You have Temple, you have Syracuse, and you have Pittsburgh. All of them with losing records.
Pittsburgh's 2-2.
Losing records, man. Come on, don't justify a 500 record. That's a losing record. I mean, I don't care.
They knocked off Virginia Tech.
Losing record of me.
Virginia Tech is not the Virginia Tech of the old, in my opinion. They've already lost 2 games.
This ain't Marcus Vick step on Dumerville's ankle of Virginia Tech.
Don't even go there.
I understand if you want to live off the name and you appreciate the little win there. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but it is what it is. As a matter of fact, I think even South Florida has a losing record. You might want to look that up. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
2-3. You're right. They do.
And they supposed to be one of the votes getters for winning the Big East. So
Cincinnati's 3-0.
Well, no, Cincinnati's decent, and I think that's one of the ones y'all will lose.
Yeah,
I think
Rutgers is
4-0. That you lose.
Rutgers is 4-0.
Okay. Okay, man.
The schedule. Kentucky's schedule is like second or third in the country as far as difficulty. Louisville's is like 88th or 90th. I'm not arguing with that. All I'm saying is if someone wants to, in the same breath, talk smack to me about being happy for Louisville being undefeated, and then at the same time say they're a Kentucky fan, I've got a problem with that.
Well, look here. If Kentucky had y'all schedule, we only have 1 loss on there, and that would have been the Louisville.
That's what I said.
That's the only loss we would have.
Interesting.
If we would have, they would have beat Southern Miss. They could be FIU. They could be
UNC, in my opinion.
Missouri State.
UNC,
they could beat all them dumb teams. I mean,
interesting. I disagree.
Enjoy your time. Enjoy your moment. You're supposed to. Shine like you're supposed to. But when you go against a grown man, little boy.
North Carolina's 3-2 and would have smoked Kentucky, Hink.
Who's that?
North Carolina's 3-2. They would have smoked Kentucky. What about Louisville and Kentucky playing on September 2nd makes you think that they would be handling the Louisville schedule similar to how Louisville is? What about the team makes you think that? Where are you getting that? Because I'm not seeing it.
What about it? Because I watch how y'all play against them, and I don't see y'all much better. Y'all let Carolina. Carolina's not good. Carolina's very depleted due to the allegations and the scholarship reductions due to the BM being on probation. They are very depleted. They lost about 5 NFL players last year. And they talk about all these NFL players on the team. No, they don't have them like that no more.
You do not know what you're talking about with that, Hink. They have about 7 or 8 guys who are going to be in the NFL. A few of them are going to be in the first 2 or 3 rounds this season.
7 or 8 guys going to be in the first round?
Yes.
Who?
The offensive left tackle, Hurst. They've got a middle linebacker. His name's slipping me right now. They've got, their right guard, Jonathan Cooper. He's going to be a first or second round pick, probably a first round pick this year, Hink. I mean, what makes you think Louisville's not that much better than Kentucky? Where are you getting that?
Let's talk about game-changing type players. I don't want to hear about offense. I want to know about the linebackers. I want to know about the quarterbacks. I want to know about the, the game-changing type players. Yeah, you could get an average offensive lineman, and he could make the NFL. Yeah, no problem. But I want to talk about your special type players, your quarterback. I want to talk about your receivers. They don't have, the quarterback ain't like that.
He'll end up in the
The
NFL.
quarterback just came off he beat a quarterback that just came off a concussion. The boy had a concussion last week, and he played, and he still found a way to come back on your sorry team. And you're bragging about that? I wouldn't say much. But like I said, the boy had a concussion. He got up, he took a hit, he got up and fell back down. The boy shouldn't have been playing. Seriously, they ought to look at that school for allowing that boy to play with a concussion. But that's their program, and that's how they want it roll. But yet they still came back and almost beat you guys. And had to make a turnover in the last minute or so, they would have beat you guys. So what is that saying? You barely beat Southern Miss. Southern Miss has won no games. A Conference USA team. I don't give a damn about a monsoon. If you got players, then you ought to be able to win, blowing out hands down, up and down that field. But y'all couldn't do it. Y'all struggled. And if the punter had even halfway of a leg and hit that ball, you wouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
So your team ain't like that, man. So enjoy the moment. You got all these better players in these sorry teams, and you still can't blow them out. Then you wonder why you're not even in the top 10 and you 5-0 because they don't respect scrubs. Because that's what you are. Louisville sucks. Later.
Thank you, Hank. Good
I love it.
Wow.
I love it. I love
Good call.
it.
He bring in the heat there. I like it.
That's great. Last week I had a guy harping on me, but
Yeah.
you and Hank just a little battle.
I'm
there.
with
I
him
liked
on
it.
most of what he says, but when you throw in that Louisville's not that much better than Kentucky, are you kidding me? Is somebody kidding? Is this a big joke? Is this a big joke? I mean,
I agree with
is
Hank.
this a big joke?
I agree with Hank on that. If Kentucky had Louisville scheduled, they would be one loss, maybe two. I'll say 2 losses, Kelly. I'll give you North Carolina.
Louisville's just a little bit better than Kentucky.
Did I ever
Is
say
the
that?
whole premise.
Did I
of
ever
that.
say that? No, I never said that. I didn't say that. Did that come out of my mouth? No, I
That
didn't
was
say
the
that.
premise of Hink's call there.
That was not Tyler's call. That was Hink's call.
I said Hink's call.
Okay, that's what you said. Me. I'm
The
talking to you
premise-
for me.
Okay.
I'm not talking out of
You're
Hink's.
saying you agree? Okay.
I'm saying
I disagree that Kentucky's is close to as good as Louisville.
I think Louisville
Okay,
is.
so what's your points on that? Why do you
I'm
say...
happy as hell that Louisville's 5-0. If someone says
That's
Kentucky,
not a point.
If someone says Kentucky, what are you guys? What's your case? Kentucky, what would their record?
Why are
be
you
at
asking us when we just asked you?
What are you asking me?
I'm asking, since you said Louisville is light years better than Kentucky, why? Why are they light years better? Is it because they have a better quarterback, a better running back? Their defense is not as good their defense is just as bad as Kentucky's.
I disagree.
It only looks Kentucky's defense only looks worse because they're playing teams like South Carolina, like Georgia, like Tennessee, like Florida. When you play those schools that are going to light
That's
you
true.
up,
I don't think that the talent level is extremely different on the defensive side. But actually, yes, I do. I think that Louisville's defensive depth is just definitely better.
We'll have
on the
2 losses
defensive
if they
line.
had Kentucky's schedule right now.
Oh yeah, probably.
Okay, well, it shows your standpoint. And then you'd end up having
What's-
about 4 to 5 to 6 losses after the season's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're.
Louisville's definitely better than Kentucky, and I'm very happy.
I agree
That's
that
a
you're
different-
better than Kentucky.
yeah, I'm not denying the fact that Louisville is
Yeah.
better than Kentucky at football.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is they're not, like Hink said, a top 10 team like a lot of people think.
Who's saying
Kelly
that?
hasn't said that.
Who's saying that?
Hink just said that.
Who's saying Louisville is a top 10 team?
I'm saying because didn't you say
No, Kelly didn't.
I certainly didn't say Louisville's a top 10
Kelly
team.
said he could see him out of the top 25. We got to get to
If
break.
they went out of the top 25, I really wouldn't have much.
And I don't
complaints.
see
They're
that
5-0.
happening.
I'm happy as hell.
Yeah, that was just Kelly's
Go
point.
Cards.
I will back you up on that one. 384-1450. Let's get some more of this going. This is good talk right now. Farrell Elliott coming up. KFFSE Commissioner talking fantasy football. Stick with us. We'll be right back. The Weekend Sports Buzz.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Chocolate. Did you say chocolate? Yes, sir. With or without nuts. Chocolate.
We're back. Hour 2 of the Weekend Sports Buzz. Chocolate.
that is That is the sickest bass drop of dubstep I've ever heard. Shout out, Adam.
Thank God Brad knew what that was, because I sure didn't. Kelly, did you know?
Oh my God, I blare that all the time.
That's like that was report parts taken from SpongeBob, guys. How can you not remember SpongeBob?
We're a little bit older, a little bit more mature than you. It's okay. It happens. But let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We got the man somebody always knows. We've talked to him every Sunday. The Big Freeze himself, Farrell Elliott. Farrell, what's up?
Guys, I love that rejoin. That's the same similar sound I've heard in my mind all week, but it's gone Miller. Because last week we gave some good advice, but we also advised that Heath Miller probably wasn't a prominent start against the Raiders, and he put up 30 fantasy points and led all tight ends.
Farrell, I've been waiting to talk about that, by the way.
Well, we got to point out when we're wrong, because being right 9 times and being wrong once, when you're really wrong, you're wrong. So you might as well go for it really big, and that was. So what did we learn from that? We learned that the Raiders are not defending the tight end. So this week with the Raider-Denver matchup, Tammy looks like a positive choice to put in your lineup. Peyton Manning attempted to hit him 10 times last weekend, was unsuccessful most of the time. If those numbers stay in form this week, Tammy could have the similar Miller-like numbers. But yeah, interesting things going on in Pittsburgh. It defied football logic. Let's put it that way.
I legitimately just pulled up my phone app and I took Brandon Pettigrew out and I put Jacob Tammy in.
I have Jacob Tammy in, or I don't have him in right now. I have him on my team, but I have Vernon Davis. So what do you think about that there?
It's difficult to move Davis down. Perhaps Tammy could be a flex over a wide receiver. So go look at that, and maybe we can use him more like a wide receiver. Hey, your Bengals this week have a very interesting matchup. They have 4 guys, 4 receivers with double-digit receptions. Green leading at 21. The rest of the guys falling in. All 3 receivers at 12. Benz, Hawkins, Gresham, the tight end, all at 12. The Jaguars don't have a receiver in double digits. Maurice Jones-Drew at 8 catches. And still we have the Jaguars favored by 1 point in that game. I don't understand that one at all. But that is going to be an interesting fantasy game as well, guys.
It will. I'm a big Bengals fan. I appreciate you acknowledging them. What's surprising to me is that they're 2-1. Now they're playing the Jaguars today. I don't care. The line sounds like maybe Vegas is trying to get people to put money on that or something. But it looks like the Bengals are primed because they have Jacksonville this week, Miami next week, and then at Cleveland. They could put together a nice little run here and, maybe even win the next 3 games. I know this isn't fantasy talk, but I'm feeling pretty good as a Bengals fan right now.
Well, it is because it does work into fantasy talk. That's what's a very, very thin line between what you see on Sunday and what you see on fantasy, because if you have a good team, if players are playing together, if you've got a good vibe in the locker room and the team's winning, you're going to get significant production from your ball club. Look at your Green Bay Packers, loaded with fantasy players that should be studs, but they aren't studs. They're not having the numbers, even from the quarterback position. Is the number 1 quarterback off the board in every draft with Rodgers. You're looking at a situation where the players at Green Bay, to a man, with perhaps the exception of Cedric Benson, are doing nothing as you would want for your fantasy team. So it's a good thing when you've got fantasy players that are in gear with teams that are winning, and that's exactly what the Bengals have done and are going to keep doing.
Now, one thing I wanted to harp on, it seems Farrell, every week we're talking about the running back issue up at San Diego. Obviously, you got Ryan Matthews, Jackie Battle getting a lot of touches now, and Ronnie Brown.
Didn't even dress.
Yeah, he didn't even dress last week, which may have hurt a few people. Is Matthews the guy? Is Battle going to steal some touches from him?
Well, Battle is actually quite an interesting player. He's an upright runner. He's already had close to 20 carries this year, and he leads the team in rushing. But that being said, those aren't those aren't big credentials because the Chargers are a bit of a misfit of a team right now, despite their 2-1 record. Let's see what they do against the Chiefs. Matthews is a significant player, both out of the backfield, receiving the ball and rushing the ball. Putting the fumbles aside, he should go forward and do very, very well, and he looks healthy. So you're going to still go to war with Matthews. If you have Battle on your roster, and he still remains a free agent in a lot of leagues, he's an interesting pickup, especially if you have Matthews. Go and get him, but you're not going to get a situation where he's handed the job this year. Ronnie Brown was an interesting fill-in. We were hoping to get from him what the Packers are getting from Cedric Benson. Didn't seem like he had as many opportunities to do that as they went running back by committee. And you're right, he does not deserve a spot on your fantasy roster right now.
I got you. Well, that's not good news. So around the league, some injuries that are out there. Pierre Garçon likely limited if he is active. It's kind of that was an update just recently. Hakeem Nicks downgraded to officially out. That's always a fantasy impact to a lot of teams around the leagues. Jamal Charles. I mean, how about the week he had last week for people, and Dwayne Bowe, being on the same Chiefs team. Looking for some guys for week 4, Farrell, that you think would be a good start. That a lot of isn't your 1, 2, 3 guy.
Well, that's you definitely got it, and thanks for the Charles. We said he was going to have his coming out party, and he sure had a party.
I know.
What a great performance, and he did that without a whole lot of help from the quarterback position. I didn't realize Castle was struggling like he is to deliver the ball, but it was wonderful watching Charles, difficult watching Castle. So your 2 guys that you're going to count on this week at Washington, you're going to look for Hankerson, the wide receiver, to move forward and to get most of those Garçon steps. You can expect a step up from the tight end position with Freddie Davis there in Washington. And more of Albert Means running the ball for the Redskins. Those are your fantasy players that you can count on at Washington this weekend. And everything's still the same situation with the New York Giants, but Ramses Barden comes back. He's shown he can do it before when he filled in for Nix and caught 9 passes. We expect him to do it again. Nobody expects him with nine receptions this week, but he'll be on the field and he'll contribute some good numbers. If you were fortunate enough to lock this player up through free agency, don't hesitate starting him. Put him on the field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Another thing I want to talk about: are you happy that the replacement refs are over? And you bring back the officials.
Well, of course, I think everybody is, and it finally got summed up very well to me. It's by a coach. He said that the players had really forgotten what was and what wasn't a foul. What was and what wasn't a penalty and a violation, and it was just too much gray area.
Right.
And now that's going. The players are going to have to function in some sort of consistency, and that's going to be better for the game. And it was a disaster in Seattle, and that's that horse has been beaten to death. But it's a situation that's over now, and thankfully, and we probably won't see that labor issue again for many years.
Farrell, I wanted to bring up something. I was scouring the internet. A lot of people have been kind of what happened last week up in Detroit. That's one of Brad's favorite teams. The running back issue. Mikael Shore got his first start, had basically everything. Kevin Smith went from having a good first couple weeks to 0 anything. Was there maybe a small injury that wasn't reported, or was it just he just isn't going to get the ball anymore?
Well, it's interesting, and we can compare what happened there to the running back position, which what we might have seen from Mike Shanahan in past years, and what we may still see from Coach Fisher at St. Louis. These coaches, when it comes to that running back position, they want to play their guy. Organizationally, they're often forced to play the quarterback that they're dealt with by the organization. So the head coach gets a lot of decision. He moves to the running back, and that sort of determines the destiny of the running back. And in a lot of situations when the coach has a guy in mind, it's going to be that guy. And when LaShore filled in beautifully, he's essentially got the job. Bell moves into the number 2 position. If you go to NFL.com and look at the depth charts. Kevin Smith, who put up great football numbers in week 1 and contributed in week 2, finds himself third on the depth chart right now.
Yeah, it's an absolute bummer that Javid Best hasn't been able to be part of that team, because of his injuries and his concussions, and he was somebody that I was really looking forward to play, but I actually picked up I believe you pronounce his first name is Joik, but yeah, is that right?
That's close enough for me.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to refer to him as J Bell until someone else tells me differently.
Absolutely. Well, I guess you're right. I will refer to him as Mr. Bell. But yeah, I actually picked him up in the KFFSC league, and I felt like that was a legitimate move because I do kind of struggle with the backup running backs, assuming whenever Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and the Bengals go on a
bye week.
A bye week. Thank you, Kelly. But Matt and I we're 1-2. We're feeling confident. We're gonna come back and win today. I know we've been putting in a 16-point hole, but I feel very confident that we will come back and win today.
Well, guys, in the KFFSC, the biggest thing you want to do is amass points. Don't get worried about your head-to-head record. It's a bonus to have a positive head-to-head record because we do pay an award for that, and you do put yourself in the playoffs with that. But you can continue to do well and get in our playoffs as a wild card team by scoring points. The greatest thing about football is the greatest thing about fantasy football. Next plays next. And, Bell is a very interesting player. He looks like coming out of the backfield, he can catch the ball and run with it even a little better than his rushing yardage. His longest rush from scrimmage is 9 yards, but his average receiving yards are over 15. I think when I checked it the other day, it was 17-something. It shows me that he can get the ball and move, and that's a pretty exciting player. You don't lose much putting Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis on a bye week. Hey, what did you guys think about what happened in Minnesota last week?
That was absurd. The final play?
No,
I'm thinking Seattle.
The outcome of the game.
Yeah, that was a shocker. Looked like Minnesota was ready to roll, and San Francisco thought they were going to walk right in there and take care of business. And I am actually proud to announce that I actually did pick up Kyle Rudolph because I know that he's the kind of guy that's going to go around to the end zone.
Sounds like Brad has a winning strategy, Farrell, and you know what that means for a winning strategy when you buy or sell a home. Allow Jamie Cox of Keller Williams Lowell East to put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rate near an all-time low, there has never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing results, contact Jamie Cox 502-593-5454 or email him directly at Jamie at thederbycityrealtor.com. We appreciate Jamie Cox of Keller Williams Louisville East.
Jamie Cox definitely in the Kentucky.
Segue into Jamie's read.
That was unbelievable.
That was very, very impressive. Well, I don't know where Rudolph would have been available. You're probably talking about one of your
yeah, I'm actually talking about a basement league.
Oh, come on.
You should keep playing in, but that's nothing wrong with that. Rudolph should be on a roster in any league. And the player we need to focus on there is going to make it better for Rudolph and better for every Viking is Jerome Simpson returns to the lineup today. There's packages in for him. He's going to be
I bet there's packages in for him.
He received a good package last week in the mail.
And very targeted. He's going to do very well, guys. If you have Simpson on your roster, don't hesitate to put him on the field. If you have Vikings on your roster, expect them to do better with Simpson's presence.
Two things, Farrell, before I let you go. One thing on the fantasy talk. Should people be worried about maybe Aaron Rodgers? He's been sacked a lot. He's down from 122 quarterback rating to an 87. Should fantasy owners be worried about him at all? Is he going to turn it around? And last thing, Homer Bailey's no-hitter.
Wow. Last thing first. Homer Bailey deserved, for if he's worked as hard as everyone says that he's worked at becoming a better athlete, not just a better pitcher, then he deserved that validation for his end of the year no-hitter against Pittsburgh, who actually has quit swinging the bat since August, but that's okay because he was impressive. in this competition against Pittsburgh, and it was an impressive game. I watched a little bit of it, and Homer Bailey looks like a different kind of athlete with a different kind of mentality.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a very big part of it. Okay, so we got that baseball question out of the way. So what's your football question?
Aaron Rodgers, is there any concern for fantasy owners?
Well, naturally, if you drafted Aaron Rodgers in the KFFSC, you took him early. You took him late in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But he's your first-round draft pick. You've got to write him in at quarterback, and they're going to right the ship at Green Bay, and they're going to be fine. That's the difficulty with going to a quarterback. If you guys think about the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks that came off our board early, you tell me which quarterback is doing as well this year as he did last year. Rodgers is not. Breeze is not. Stafford is not. Cam Newton is struggling. All of these quarterbacks are being passed by quarterbacks that you could have had later in the draft. And it's one of the things fantasy players ask me, what do I need to do to win? I say, get your mind off the quarterback early. Go ahead and take you a quarterback later, because guys are going to step up and perform. I mean, even Kevin Kolb this year, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Quarterback talent's available throughout the drafts. Keep that in mind next year, guys.
As you guys know, before we let you go, Farrell, last thing I ever want to do is toot my own horn. But I am in a basement league where I drafted just a ton of running backs and wide receivers, and I am 3-0, and my starting quarterback is Christian Ponder. I love it. I feel so happy about it. I was confident about it when I did it, and I think that goes right along with what you said there, Farrell.
It's the same philosophy, and that's, you play in the basement leagues for fun and competitiveness with your friends, and you have a great time, and then step it up
for the
next year.
Professionals.
Come to the KFFSC and play, and use the same things that you've learned there, because it applies. One game is the same. It's just the level of competition and the preparedness of the people you're competing against. But at the end of the day, it's all a great deal of fun. I'm really glad that you guys are in the league, and I hope we can get more listeners to come join you guys and compete with you next year, because you guys are proving that it's going to be a good year for us.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Me and Kelly 2-1. I'm 2-1. Brad's looking at a 1-2 under 500 record. No surprise there. But Farrell, we appreciate you taking your time again as always. You can check Farrell out every Wednesday, 12 to 1. For the KFFFC Fantasy Football Talk Hour. It's a great show. Him and Trevor Bacon. I'm very hungry all the time. Kelsey will be doing the show. Check it out. It's a fun show. You will enjoy it. Farrell, have a good rest of your Sunday.
All right, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Once again, that was Farrell Elliott with the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. It really is. I still play in a couple of the basement leagues, but Farrell's right when he says that it's just a different. You look at the waiver wire. You can just tell. People in that league know what they're doing.
They really do, but that's why we're in it. We really, Brad, not so much you and Matt. Kelly and I are kind of no.
What do you have to say about that, Brad?
Are you going to tell me that Kelly knows more about fantasy football than me?
How many? I'm all I'm
Considering
saying.
This is your.
Are you saying that Kelly's fantasy football team is only slightly better than my fantasy football team? You're
that'd
a jerk.
Ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous. As in to say Kentucky is only slightly worse than Louisville, despite the fact that Louisville stomped them and then let off the gas, and that's why it was so close. And it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close, but what is close is this break, so we are going to hop to it. It's been a fun show so far. 384-1450 on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. If you want to give us a text, you can do so as well. If you want to talk about how I'm sitting between two guys with awesome hair, one with a comb-over, one with a slick-back Pat Riley. It's a pretty cool environment at 1450 Studio. Anyways, Lance McAllister coming up. WLW Cincinnati, we're going to call him. Stick with us at the Weekend Sports Buzz.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Call in on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. We've taxi cab confessions or something. Odd intro there. I don't know. Anyways, 384-1450. Oxmoor, Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Give us a call. We'd love to hear more people argue with Kelly. Him and Hink got into it earlier. That was classic. 414-1450. Shoot us a text. We'd love to get a text in there. We'll read it over the air.
That's not just any text line. That is the Lotus Gunworks text line.
That's what I was looking for. Shoot us a text on the Lotus Gunworks text line.
Literally. But don't literally shoot us.
A text.
Shoot us a text.
There are bullet holes on the window.
Yeah, we found that
aimed
out.
at Adam the intern. We're hoping we look over one day, and it's kind of like a celebrity deathmatch scene, and Adam's kind of just knocked out. No.
Oh, my God.
We really respect Adam around here.
On a serious note, we hope to have Lance calling in, Lance McAllister from 700 WLW.
He's at his daughter's soccer tournament in a sketchy receptional spot. He's going to attempt to call us back here in a minute. Mm-hmm. If not, it's okay. Lance will be on next Sunday. I mean, the playoffs are, 2 weeks, a week and a half away. So as long as we get him on before that playoffs start, this week or next week, it's cool. Lance, we hope to have you call in. It's been a good show so far. Coming up, let's see here. We got the Oxmoor Ford always doing deals, continually going. Looks like you all have the paper there.
Yes,
you took
I
it,
do.
Brad. You took it.
I didn't take it. Kelly took it. Hey, sports fans, don't bet on gas prices going down anytime soon.
Nope.
Save at the pump by keeping your car in good running condition. Get the Fuel Saver Works package at Oxmoor Ford Service for only $39.95. That's a deal, folks.
It is. Right there in St. Matthews. Have you ever stopped in there? I have.
Nice place.
That ends today, so get in your car, turn on 1450.
I don't think they're open today.
Well, that's
what's tomorrow's. We have one starting tomorrow.
We have one that ends on October 7th, and that is the Oxmoor Ford Service is taking confidence in their work to a new level with a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on all customer-paid service work. Now, that's assurance you can't find anywhere else.
That's a good deal. I love Oxmoor Ford. I got to meet the good people over there at one of our tailgates. So Oxmoor Ford, appreciate them being a big part of 1450 The Sports Buzz. And, of course, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. Louisville, Kentucky news 24/7, coming straight from KentuckySports.co. And, of course, you can find us at Twitter at 1450 Sports Buzz, as well as at KY Sports Co. Go hit those little blue follow buttons. You'll get some good information coming to you directly to your phone and fingertips. And, of course, our iPhone and Android apps, 1450 Sports Buzz, and KaiSco Sports. Go download both of them, again, right there on your phone, right there in your hands. A little bit more local, not locally. I want to talk Louisville a little bit more with you. I kind of teased earlier, see what's coming up next for Louisville. Before we get into that, today is a lot of stuff went down a long time ago, Kelly, in the baseball world. Babe Ruth hit his 60th home run today in 1927, as well as Babe Ruth his last game, final game for the Yankees, 1934. Obviously, one of the Babe himself, the greatest. We've had that topic before. Carolina called in saying no, he is the greatest. First ever televised college football game. Obviously, everybody loves college football, and thanks to TV, Fordham and Waynesburg of New York City. Awesome. First televised football game.
What year was that?
1939.
Wow.
1939.
Probably back when Kentucky was playing the Lexington YMCA.
Possibly so. There.
Basketball.
It probably were. 92, KC Royal, George Brett was his fourth. Got his fourth hit to become the 18th player ever for 3,000 hits. Obviously, 3,000 is a milestone. The most recent?
4,000.
For 3,000?
That was Derek Jeter.
How?
He did it with a home run.
It was a classic game. I watched it. If you've never seen that HBO film they do of Derek Jeter's 3,000s, it's awesome. You really do. I'm not a Yankees fan, but I'm a fan of good things, and that was a good story. And, of course, some of my local quick tidbits there. James Young was on campus all weekend, and we'll get some news on the website out coming out soon. Cal Poire had an in-home visit with Julius Randle. Marcus Lee cut Louisville, Kelly, from his list. He's down to local Cal and Kentucky. His brother spoke on that a little bit over the week and said, it's a good either choice for them is a good choice. Mentioned a little bit that maybe going to Cal would be a little bit better for him. He wouldn't be surrounded by All-Americans. But if you don't want a title, you can go to Cal as well. It'd be okay. Also, last thing, 2012 Ryder Cup, final day. Going on right now. The singles match is going on. USA needed 4.5 points to win the Ryder Cup. It's back. It'll be the first one since they won, I believe, when it was in Louisville in 2004. 2008, yes. 2008. That'll be the first time they've won, and it's back on home soil, so that's good. Yeah, NFL referees back.
We just got a text on the text line. We have Tony. Tony says, I think in the second half you saw more of the Vance Bedford defense we were looking for. With the bye week coming, I think the train is coming.
The train?
What is it with Louisville and this is a legit question. What is it with Louisville
Vance
and
Bedford,
the train?
a pretty jacked up guy, was the
Right.
former, the secondary coach for Florida, is now the defensive coordinator for Louisville. He, a couple years ago now, in the press conference, he said, we've got this rolling. You should watch the clip. You get on the train or get out of the way. The train is coming.
So,
and he was yelling.
So is that why
he was just a very heated speech?
Is that why
everybody,
they have train horns now whenever Louisville?
Yep.
That is so. That's
Have
like,
you ever been to Papa
that's
John's?
That's what
we've
Brad,
been outside.
You've been outside.
That's
of
like
it.
saying, "Whoa, the Wildcats come to the zoo" or something stupid.
Okay, you think it's stupid? Okay.
I'm not hating on it. I kind of.
Brad is.
I
You
am.
got to jump on
I
the
love
train.
Because Cardinals don't ride in trains.
That's a good point.
What he was saying, Vance Bedford.
Right
What
at the end of the tunnel is not safe.
Nice.
It's not safe.
Listen,
the future
we turn
is
that up?
coming. If you're in the way, we're gonna roll right through you. So get on the train now. So all you people on the side, if you're on the side, it's coming. Coach Strong got the train rolling. We got the guys. We got some great recruiters, some coaches on their staff. We're getting the right people here. We're gonna get it back to what it's supposed to be. We expect for that stadium to be 55,000, standing room only. People on the gate, let me in. Let me in. Why? Because the train is rolling. So anybody out there, I can't tell you what's going to happen right now, but it's coming. Get on board or get out the way.
Wow, it's coming. It's coming. We don't know when.
don't like it.
We don't. It's like the Cubs. We don't know when the Cubs are going to win a World Series, but we know it's coming.
I know.
We know it.
No, it's not.
What he was
No, it's
saying
not.
to that is that there were some people, and there always is, for instance, Brad Steen, obviously now classified as a hater. Some people, people now,
the haterade is delicious.
Some people are not on board. What I got from that was Vance saying, we got the enthusiasm going, we got it all going. Get with us or get out of the way. If you're not with us, then get the hell out of our way. We don't want you. And Brad Steen, we don't want you. Get the hell off the train.
Good.
Get out of the way.
I don't want to be.
Brad doesn't want to be a part.
Because if I took that train, I'm going the wrong way. Then.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'll
Get
wait.
the hell
I'll
out
wait
of the
for
way.
the next
That
one.
train's
Get the hell out of
derailing.
the
Besides,
That-
who the hell takes a train in 2012?
If it's a party train like the one Louisville has outside that stadium, I will hop on that train, but that's just to party and for the free food. 384-1450 Oxmoor Fort
Good
Dix
text there
Puzzle.
by Tony. I love it.
Yeah, thanks Tony for text. One of our guys that calls in a lot. Also, the text, the oldest gunwork text line 414-1450. Shoot us a text. Coming up at 12 o'clock, so everybody knows, you got to stick on. We got the new local show going on, just got kicked off a couple weeks ago. Those weekend golf guys talking all the things local golf. Ryder Cup, I'm sure they're excited about today. Going to talk a lot of golf. They might be able to take a stroke or two off of your game. I'm not for sure. But, yeah, listen to John. He'll get it covered for you. They're on
Good
every
stuff.
Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 2, those weekend golf guys. We appreciate those guys from joining the good guys and team here at 1450.
They know where it's at. We
know where
are
it's at.
the only locally owned sports radio station in the city.
I
love being associated with that.
Listen to
the
this
only
lineup.
locally owned sports radio station in the city. I love it. Even the
love it.
national stuff. We have 9 hours, I think, of local programming in a day.
We have Dan Patrick with National.
show.
You couldn't get it better. You can't get better than Dan Patrick, in my opinion. He's my favorite. Kelly, you?
No, I love Dan
I
Patrick.
think yeah. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Dan. You're from the Erlanger, Cincinnati area, where Dan Patrick kind of was from.
He went to UD.
He went to UD,
He's a
yep.
big Reds fan, so.
He's a big Reds fan.
And I
He
actually learned that Kirk Herbstreit is a huge time Reds fan as well.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
He's a Buckeye. He was from Ohio, isn't he?
Kirk Herbstreit, yeah.
Yeah, I know he played quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah,
but
well, I think
didn't
he's
know he
from
was-
that area as well. Yeah, he's a big time. But listen to this lineup, Kelly. You mentioned how good 40-50 the lineup. You got Mason Myers in the morning, 7 to 9 a.m.
Love it.
You got the new the Wildcat breakdown,
Lodge.
Wildcat Lodge breakdown. They got a new name. The great going on there. I believe that's 1 to 3 in the afternoons, Monday through Friday, if I'm correct. The new show coming up. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, the Montrell Jones Sports Talk Power Hour. We're going to have that from 12 to 1. And then, of course, like I mentioned with Farrell Elliott, on Wednesdays from 12 to 1, the Farrell Elliott Fantasy Football Show, KFFSC.com. Then you're moving on. Of course, we have our weekend show, Saturday and Sunday, Weekend Sports Buzz. Nick Coffey, inside the press box every Monday through Friday in the afternoons, 5 to 6. You have now on Thursday nights, Matt Dennison, the high school sports talk, locally 7 to 8 p.m. And then, of course, every Friday and Saturday night, TV. You got the Sunday Sports Buzz on local Insight Channel 21. Great stuff on there. Greg Brom hosting that. Local guests that are very well known in the area on there. Everything. And then Friday's show will be getting a lot going more. So the lineup's just packed.
You
Did I
really
forget
can't.
anybody?
I feel
the freak. I knew I forget somebody. The freak.
Oh, yeah.
How can you forget the freak? Talking about cocaine, talking about being in jail for 38 years. Just doing a lot of crazy fun stuff throughout his time. So you can't forget. 1450 is.
No, it really is. I can confidently tell anyone I encounter during the week. I'm fortunate to be part of a show on Sunday from 10 to 12. The best local sports station there is. I mean, it's the only locally owned sports station there is. I'm not just saying that.
It really is.
I enjoy listening to this more than any other station. Download the app. You can hear it crystal clear from anywhere.
Yeah.
You got your iPhone or Android, 1450 the Sports Buzz. Download the app. So, I mean,
not to continue harping on how awesome 14 is.
It really
but,
is.
This Thursday, huge week 1450. Obviously, I just mentioned the Montrell Jones show is getting kicked off tomorrow. 12 to 1. But this Thursday is the 1 year anniversary, our birthday party bash of 1450, Kelly. 1 year on the air. Thursday at BJ's, they'll have the Freaks coming in town, going to do his show from BJ's on Dixie, followed by Inside the Press Box and Nick Coffey. And then Nick will take his show Friday to Saints in St. Matthews, Saints Bar. So get out to those locations, help 1450 and us celebrate our birthday, and come and meet the crew. So. Boom.
I mean, that's where it's at. It really is.
Let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. Man just sent a text in. Now he's online. Tony, what's up?
Could you repeat the schedule for me? I didn't get to hear when the Wildcat SEC Welfare Recipient Program was coming on.
Welfare Recipient Program? What are you talking about?
Tony, come on, man. Why you got to come in like that on me?
You can't deny that Kentucky is a profitable program from a football perspective because they're in the SEC. If they weren't in the SEC, they wouldn't be worth anything.
That makes no sense. That's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Tony,
really?
You still on the line?
Let's hear what your case is against that.
Looks like Tony just called in.
No.
Tony just to say that we were on welfare.
Just call.
See you, Tony.
Tony called in just a little.
Tony, I'm loving me some Tony
man,
today.
he's on that train. He's ready to roll.
He is, right.
The Cardinals driving that train. We don't know where it's going or when it's coming,
Kentucky
but
bring
it's
to the SEC from a football perspective.
Well, they
Fun.
did go to 4.
Okay, I can go with that.
You did have 4 consecutive bowl games. 3 wins in a row.
Okay,
You were ranked
that's
number
true.
7 nationally. You do bring in the best fan base in America. You do bring 49,000 plus on a awful season. Louisville brings in 50,000 on their best season in years. Does that explain enough to you?
That's the train, baby. That is
Get on the
truth.
train.
That is the
Get on the train.
That is the true. That is the train.
Okay, I can go with that.
You
They
really
do. They
just
have
made me
great
mad.
fans, Kentucky fans who support football in and out, and there are plenty of them. They are great.
Oh, don't
They're
get me
second to
wrong.
none. If you support Kentucky football year-round, regardless, which I'm not being sarcastic.
Right.
I know a lot of them.
Right.
They truly are second to none. Louisville's right there with them. I mean, the fan base, if you can stick with Kentucky football through this type of a time and a period in the program's history, you have my utmost respect as a sports fan.
I know this is rock bottom for UK. This is, I mean, the only way we can go.
They went 2-9 the year before before Rich Brooks came in. So we've been here before.
Yeah.
It's not
There was some
technically rock
probation
bottom.
issues there.
And
I know,
but the
Not
thing is,
technically rock
just
bottom.
going by record, okay?
Without having a good excuse, that makes it even worse.
at
that
tailgates,
they're doing this right now.
when I've been to some of the games and I've gone to tailgate and I've talked to some of the people that you know asking for what kind of coach they want. They want a coach that'll just go 6-6. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you go 6-6 because that means we're getting into a bowl game and we're making the SEC look a little better and we're not a football powerhouse.
I will disagree. I want more than 6-6. I'm sorry, 6-6.
Really?
Yeah, cool. Go to bowl game. We'll get. No, I don't want to go to the Outback to the
in
Belt Bowl area.
With the third toughest schedule in the country.
I know.
Realistically.
That's cool. Rich Brooks is doing 7-8. I want that. I want 7-8.
Okay. No, that's
what
good.
I want. Sorry.
I'm with both of you on those.
That's fine.
Points.
Let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. Brian's on the line. Brian, what's
Hey,
up,
good
man?
morning, guys. How's everybody this morning?
We're doing great. How are you?
Great. Love listening to the program. Shout out to the Cardinals, 5-0. Wasn't pretty, but normally you don't get 5 inches of rain, and a win's a win. So hats off to my Cardinals. Hey, I wanted to give you a quick update on the world of horse racing.
Right.
Big day at Belmont yesterday. They had a lot of grade ones, a lot of winning your ins for the Breeders' Cup, but just a smashing performance once again by Royal Delta. Probably one of the most impressive fillies in recent memory. Just a smashing victory, and the only question they're going to have, Bill Mott's going to have for her, is if she's going to run against the boys or the girls on Breeders' Cup, either in the Ladies' Classic or go against the boys in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And speaking of Bill Mott, he went ahead and won the big race for the boys yesterday at Belmont with Flat Out. He swept the 2 grade ones at Belmont yesterday. A real biggest day of the year at Belmont in the fall meet. So very impressive day. And before you guys have a chance to ask, let me give you a Fat Day update. He's running Thursday. He's running Thursday at Hoosier. And we've got Brian Hernandez on him again, and
he's been a
winner. Great combination. He's going to win it, so keep an eye out on Fat. But love the show. Congratulations on the 1-year anniversary, guys. It's a fantastic show, and real proud to be able to call in each week.
Hey, Brian, I wanted to ask you, I'm glad you called in. I was reading in the paper this morning, and I see that looks like Brett Calhoun facing a possible 30-day suspension here in Kentucky for horse racing. Have you know anything about
that's an interesting thing. I contacted my trainer, Billy Denzik, yesterday to get a little more details on it, and he never got back with me, which isn't surprising. But, if you read the comments that Brett Calhoun made in the Daily Racing Forum, it was a very, very nice maiden horse that was very, very expensive, and he claims the horse is just a bad bleeder, and he was doing what was right for the horse and over-medicated it to prevent the bleeding. Of course, for those for the people that aren't sure what the bleeding means in the horse racing, that's the lungs when they get overexerted in a race and the lungs actually bleed, and there's anti-bleeding medicine, and that's what Brett administered, and clearly over the legal limit, and he is going to serve a 30-day suspension.
That's odd. I read that, and I was kind of wondering what it was. I'm glad you called in, because you're the first person I thought.
So what's the next thing that we need to be looking forward to? I know you probably touched on it, but as far as the world of horse racing, what do we look forward to next, Brian?
Great question. Keeneland, we're getting into the fun time of the season. Keeneland opens up next weekend there in Lexington for their 30-day meet, which will then lead right into the Churchill meet, which then goes right into the first Saturday in November, the Breeders' Cup, the big champion day for horse racing. So it's going to get real interesting now. Most of the Breeders' Cup horses have either run their prep races or are about to run their last race before the Breeders' Cup, which was the case with the horses yesterday at Belmont. But the very prestigious Keeneland meet opens next week. Next Saturday is they have 5 win-and-you're-in races, and for those of you that are interested in that, that's a race where if you win it, you're automatically entered into the Breeders' Cup. And not only that, but the Breeders' Cup actually pays your entry fee and gives your connections a $10,000 travel expense and party bonus money. So it's a huge deal, and there's 5 of them next week. So next week, now I don't know, the kickoff time. I know Tyler was watching that. I was very disappointed to see the kickoff time for the Cats game next Saturday. Is it going to be at 12:21, which is going to run right in the face of the Keeneland day there, but it's going to further hinder attendance at the UK game next week. But I guess they probably couldn't do much about it for the TVs. But Keeneland, and then right into Churchill, and then the Breeders' Cup.
There we go, Brian. Well, we're up against this break. We appreciate the update, and as always, so glad you're listening.
Thanks, guys. Love the show. Bye-bye.
Brian, the insider there calling in, will update. He loves Louisville. He loves horse racing, and he owns Fat Day, who's the future champion of horse racing. He did mention the schedule of that Keeneland real quick. I know we're up against this break. This Saturday, we're playing Mississippi State, Kentucky in Lexington. 12:20 kickoff, I believe, 12 o'clock. That does interfere with the Keeneland, because a lot of people like to go to Keeneland, hop straight over to Commonwealth, watch some football. So, it'll happen. You'll get to in a few weeks, but not week 1. Anyway, 384-1450. Let's get to our break. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Now back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here, the Weekend Sports Buzz final segment. Give us a shout, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line, or give us a text on the Lotus Gunworks text line, 414-1450. Get right into it here. Everybody needs to get on KentuckySports.co. That's KentuckySports.co. And check out my man John Hancock's exclusive interviews he has going on. You can look right on the top. It says exclusive interviews. It's not hard to miss. He has done a lot of coaches, top recruits coaches for Louisville, Kentucky, a.k.a. the Harrison Twins, Julius Randle, Andrew Wiggins, Marcus Lee. He's interviewed all. He just recently wrapped up a interview with former Louisville Cardinal, current Seattle Seahawk Greg Scruggs. It's a great interview. So you definitely need to get on there. John's trying to get one or two random interviews like that out a week. We love it. He never lets us know either, Kelly. It's kind of a surprise to us as well, which I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I
John
just
is
got
all over it. As far
really
as getting
is.
the exclusive interviews with somebody's maybe junior college coach or high school coach.
He got Chris
or the
Jones
players.
3 days before the commitment. He got a great interview out of that. It's still on the site. It goes directly to 1450 to sportsbuzz.com as well. You can check it out there, as well as cardsandcats.com. So get on those sites. We're all buddies. We're all partners.
Family of
we all hold hands and
sports
smack
websites.
ass together. Anyways,
lots of ass smacking and hand holding.
Since Lance was obviously busy, family issues, it's okay. Let's end on the Reds here a little bit. 5 minutes ago, Homer Bailey threw the perfect game. We talked about that yesterday. We talked
No
about
hitter.
it a little bit.
Not far from a perfect game. He only walked one guy.
It could have been a hit, to be honest with you. If any of you saw that,
I didn't watch it.
It could have gone either way.
The Scott Rowland error could have easily been a hit, especially when you're playing at Pittsburgh. They could have easily gave that hit, but they didn't. So no hitter for Homer Bailey. But that leads into 4 games to go in the season, 95 and 63 record.
4 games to go. They play at 135 today against the Pirates. Actually, the last time they had 96 wins was during the 1999 season, which ended sadly with
the Mets one-game playoff.
Al Leiter throwing an unbelievable game against Pete Harnish.
Johnny Cueto pitches for the Reds today at 135.
But
he's close to his 20. If he wins, it's his 20th win of the season. And I really am putting a lot of weight into this. I don't know about you guys. Washington plays against St. Louis today at 2:15.
Yeah.
St. Louis has this guy Lynn, who's 17-7. I mean, kind of going under the radar there. I'm pulling for St. Louis more than I ever have in my whole life.
I've never pulled for Cardinals. I've never pulled for Cardinals. I hate all things Cardinals.
You hate the actual bird.
I hate Cardinal sports.
Tyler's not on the train. That's what we're
I'm not on the train.
You guys need to get on the train and get the hell off.
I'm getting the hell out of the way. The first thing I'll do is derail the train before I get on the train.
Good. Put a penny on there. Go to prison. Hope you go to prison.
There we go. But yeah, I'm right with you, Kelly. Why?
We want home field advantage throughout the playoffs. We're that close to possibly having
one game back,
the best record in all of baseball, and getting home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I'm not saying people aren't realizing the importance of this, but I think it's going a little under the radar possibly.
2-3-2, the new playoff.
It's a big deal.
If we go to the playoffs and we get knocked out, I don't know if you guys remember last time we made the playoffs, we got just
swept.
Our asses handed to us by the Phillies.
That's okay.
I don't want that.
No, I don't want it now.
Not be happy.
You accepted. You're okay with it then because that's the first playoffs since '95.
I kind of was okay with it then. Yeah, I wanted them to win, but I wasn't disappointed in the season. I'm ready for us to take the next step.
Yes,
looks like we have 1, 2, maybe 3 legit number 1 starters.
Don't say number 1.
I feel that
Homer Bailey is not a number 1.
He has the potential to be number 1.
What, a 10-10 record and a 1-1, number 1.
He's gotten better. He's matured
as the season gone on.
He's become more as a pitcher rather than a thrower.
I agree with you. He is not number 1.
He's close to it.
No, he's not.
He's progressing.
No, he's not. He's R3. So you're obviously not number 1.
He's R3. Obviously.
4 maybe.
We have a real good top
Johnny
of the rotation.
Cueto and Matt Latos are there.
And Bronson.
You're going to take Bronson Arroyo over Homer Bailey.
Bronson Arroyo is valuable to have in this playoff season.
Yes.
We're not going to use him unless.
Let's not argue that. Go back to the topic.
Okay.
The playoffs. I want the.
It's huge.
Brad,
this is
do you
huge.
want the home field throughout the playoffs?
Well, yeah, that would be nice. I think any fan that doesn't
Brad's
want
up in the air, guys, because he is a Braves fan, and that could be the
Yeah,
Braves
that's-
fan.
He understands that it's very important.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that it's important because you want the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But I'm at a toss up here. If the Reds and Braves end up playing each other, I don't know what I'm.
That's an
what
allegiance
Well,
issue.
to write for KentuckySports.co, you
Yeah.
better be pulling for the Reds, right, Kelly?
No, I mean, Brad, you pull for who you want to.
Yeah,
Right, I will.
If you want to be part of it.
I mean, I don't know. Are you interested in being on the train, or do you want to maybe get run over?
Am I on the KaiSco train, or
Do you
am I
want
gonna
to
get
be on
run
the
over?
train, or do you
That's
want to
your own
get thrown
decision.
off the train and maybe ran over?
But they hit the
limb
playoffs,
dismembered.
Kelly. Who's we talked about it on the way up here a little bit before the show started. Your number one pitcher, Cueto.
If I had to choose, I'll say, go number one pitcher, Cueto. He's our most successful. He's close to a 20-game winner. If I want anybody to have the guarantee of pitching 2 games in the series, I'm going to have it be Cueto.
I'm going with Matt Latos, only because it's a 2-3-2 series format. It's a new format. You go with Matt Latos at game 1. It's a great chance. The odds of winning are very, very great with Matt Latos, obviously. But if he does lose, you bring Johnny Cueto out for day 2, tie that series up, come back home for 3, allow Johnny Cueto to get 4 days rest. You'll get 1 in between for travel. Pitch on that 3rd day at home. There's his second start. I just like that.
You're going to start Johnny Cueto back-to-back games.
No, he's not saying back-to-back games. He's saying
That's the way I
the
guess it.
4th. It'd be the 5th game. It'd be the 5th
I'm
game.
sorry.
Of
I'm
the,
sorry. I misunderstood
who's your
that.
choice as the Reds' number 1 starter in the
All
playoffs?
depends on who they play.
Okay.
If they were to get that number 1 overall spot and they had home field advantage, I'm going Johnny Cueto. But if they play in San Francisco, I'm going with Matt Latos because he has dominated the Giants and he hates San Francisco. And then my second guy is Mike Leake because he is absolutely outstanding against the Giants this year. He pitched a
that's
complete
when
game.
Brad
against them.
now turns his car on and heads back up to Erlanger. And
No, you're not serious with that.
Maybe I am, but I will go with Cueto if
That's
it
fine.
makes you all happy.
But the
Go ahead,
leak,
Tyler.
you lost me with the leak comment.
I'll explain off the air. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you write an article about that. KentuckySports.co. It's been a fun show. Brad,
Great
thanks
show.
for coming
Great
down.
show.
Stick with us, 1450 as from 12 to 2. Those weekend golf guys will take over the air. It's a great show. Talking a lot of golf. We're going to talk a lot of Ryder Cup, I'm sure. Kelly, 5-0, moving on to next week.
5-0, get on the train or get the hell out of the way.
Go Reds. Go America. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Go Norse.